Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that every single day celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Hey, we have Senator Brice Wiggins, and we'll have him in just a second. But I want to share something with you, and then I'll get his thoughts about this, because it said, what I'm about to read to you says a lot about coastal Mississippi and who we are. And it was posted from a website called Mindful Christianity, and Murakami is the one who wrote it. So anyway, here it is. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure, in fact, whether the storm is really completely over. But one thing is certain: when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person you were that walked into it. I say this as a general rule. I talk about this on Coast Vue all the time, that the storms we face in life, for us here in coastal Mississippi, tend to be a little bit stronger, maybe. We have the personal challenges like the pandemic and things that go on in your life. I mean, everybody has those. Around the world, everybody has those. But when you combine those life experiences with the storms that we've had to deal with, whether it be a pandemic or Hurricane Katrina or an oil spill, I mean, some of the worst natural disasters in American history, what it ultimately does, though, is it makes us tougher. It makes us stronger. It makes us more resilient. And I'll talk about that as one of our advantages, actually, that once we've been through those trials and tribulations, at the end of the day, it creates a bit of an advantage for us over other parts of the country. We're more resilient. Our ability to bounce back is better. And I think the one thing that really makes the most difference is something I refer to on this show all the time, and that is that it doesn't matter what political party you're from. When you're in the midst of a storm, people have a tendency to take care of their neighbor, and the number of volunteers that come out of the woodwork to help us. That's one of the reasons why Mississippi is always one of the top in the nation in terms of per capita giving, because we really want to take care of each other, and we know what it takes to recover. So when we're talking about, whether the storm that we weather, whether it's in your personal life or whether it's something that hits us all, we're tougher. And just remember that. Just work to continue to make that resiliency that's in all of us one of our sort of competitive advantages. So let's move on now to our friend Senator Brice Wiggins. He's from District 52 in Jackson County. He's the chair of the Senate Judiciary Aid Committee, and he's been incredibly active in the Senate as a leader. Brice, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Ricky, doing great. And I just want to echo what you said about resiliency. And people may get tired of talking about it, but we have let me put it this way. We all have a Katrina story. And when you were talking about that, I think about Katrina and how we came back. In my personal situation, I was looking through an 18-wheeler for diapers for my 2-month-old baby, not believing I found myself in that situation. My son was 3 years old, and we didn't get to have a birthday with him. And here we are now, and I'm coming from Pascagoula, and you talk about resiliency. If people were down here this past weekend on Saturday, it was blowing and going with the barbecue. There's development going on, and so the resiliency is something that is part of who we are.
It is part of who we are. I've mentioned this before, but when I was 21, I found my own father dead, and he was only 44 years old. I didn't think I would ever recover from that. And, as the years go by, one thing about the human spirit is it does heal. It does heal, and you move on. And more recently, you may have heard me tell the story of my granddaughter, Mila, who, as it turned out at the time, it was really, really sick, double pneumonia and some other issues. And she stopped breathing, and I had to do mouth-to-mouth on her. And her mother, who's a critical care nurse, was there as well. And my wife and my daughter and others were there. And then in the moment, as a former paramedic, I sort of got through it, and I just focused on what needed to be done. But when it was over with, I was a basket case for about 3 or 4 weeks. And again, here I am. I sit here today and I look back on that and I think, gosh, I'm stronger because of that. I'm stronger because I went through that. And in the moment, Katrina was like this. But in the moment, you don't sense this. But when you look back, in my case, in the case of Mila, it turned out really good for me, thank God. In the case of Katrina, where we almost got washed away, my family survived. When you're in those situations, it reminds you, doesn't it, though, Bryce, what in life is really important, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I'm gonna top you here, Ricky. And I know people know about this, but I have a story similar to that. And yes, about Katrina, but more recently, the start of my second term in the Senate, my wife, Heather, was diagnosed with breast cancer, hit us out of the blue. And when you have to tell your middle school, elementary children that their mother has breast cancer, and at that time, we didn't know if she was going to survive. But we got through it. We made it through, and by the grace of God and family, she is all well now. She's good. But to your point, Ricky, it gave me a perspective. You realize that, to put it succinctly, there are just things that are more important than other things. And as much as I love Mississippi, as much as I love South Mississippi, as much as I love what I'm doing, and it made me realize that things that get talked about in Jackson at the Capitol, you know what? They really aren't that important. When your wife is diagnosed with stage 2.5 breast cancer, and she possibly could pass away, you know, the things that go on in Jackson, and to be honest, the things that go on in our political environment, the stuff that gets talked about out of DC, the stuff that goes around on social media, you know what? There's more important things, and your family, your friends, the relationships, that's what drives it. And the others, while they're important, it's about priorities. Is that what you were kind of saying?
100%, 100%. And God bless you and your family. But here's the thing, though. It is in those moments like you experienced, and your Katrina experience and my experience, and so many others like us, that I think sometimes the busyness of life, we get moving so fast, we kind of lose perspective. I think the further we get away from incidents, the less clarity we have about what is important. I mean, in those moments, we are reminded. We have this like stark reminder of, that not all those other things don't matter, that there's a lot of noise in life that doesn't matter, and that our loved ones and those that are close to us are what matters. And, I think, but again, the thing that coastal Mississippians bring to the table is a toughness around these things, the ability to help each other. And, we've been there. We're very resilient. Your family is now more resilient. Your family is now more appreciative of those moments together in ways that you weren't before. And we don't need those moments. We don't need those moments. I would rather not have those moments, but that's part of life, isn't it, Bryce? I mean, it's part of life. It's
part of life, but it makes you better. I know because of what we've been through, Katrina, in our case, Heather's breast cancer, that I can stand up in the Mississippi Senate or stand up other places and fight and know that I'm going to be strong. And to be honest, that I've gone through those things, that no matter what people throw at me, be it the other side of the aisle or be it, no offense to you, but the media, I'm going to be fighting because I've been there. If my family can overcome my wife's breast cancer and we can overcome Katrina, that means that I'm going to be able to fight for BP money, or for to have the best elected officials and cut down on corruption or something like that. Because you know what? At the end of the day, that the fact that my wife is here, my kids have their mother, the fact that we all overcame Katrina, it gives us a perspective that I don't think a lot of people have, to be honest, to your point.
Yeah, it definitely is. And thanks for sharing that. And God bless you and your family. And the short time we have left, we're going to get into some of the legislative stuff after this. But so you've been watching the Coast of Mississippi tourism thing, and I think actually he's about to let me know that we got about a minute to go. But the Coast of Mississippi tourism effort, what is we got about a minute and 20 seconds left in this segment. Give me your headline. And then we're going to talk about some of the potential paths forward after this. And then I want to talk about medical marijuana, potential special session and all that stuff. So as you look at it now, what's your thought on regional tourism?
Well, my thought is, in the time we have it on this segment, is tourism is extremely important for the whole region. And the legislature meets every year for a reason, and that is that to make changes to things that need to go on. And in the case of the Regional Tourism Board, I've called it the growing. We maybe have outgrown what we passed, and guess what? That is what happens. That's why you have a legislature, so you come back. And by the way, in different pieces of legislation, general legislation, the stuff we work on, we'll pass it. And in 4 years, we come back and we tweak it or we change it, because guess what? That's the beauty of our system. And so I think it falls into that category.
This is Senator Brice Wiggins. When we come back, we'll continue this part of the conversation. See you after this break.
It's 2021 and J. Allen Toyota still has a lifetime warranty on all new Toyotas. They all come with Toyota Care. We've got a great rental department. We've got great used cars. We've got a parts and service department ready to help you. So when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. I have Senator Brice Wiggins with us today, and he's a senator from District 52 in Jackson County, and just somebody who's just super, super dedicated to his role. He's a lawyer, actually, I should point out, and we're going to talk a little bit more about his expanding law firm here at the end of the program. But when we went to break, we were talking about the Coastal Mississippi tourism effort, and look, here's my thought about this, Bryce, has simply been that just to kind of solidify the point that you just made. Some people say because this is a local private bill that it can't be adjusted unless all the different entities sort of sign on and endorse those adjustments. But when this was formed in 2013, compromises are made, but that's true with any bill. The legislative process is literally about compromises. And I don't think that any legislator, worth their salt would say that you arrive at the exact, best bill the first time. There's always going to be needs to make adjustments and whatever. And with a regional effort as substantial as tourism, for example, you never expect to land on the best solution the first time. You mature as an organization, you make adjustments in what you learned, and you move forward. But that's just the way the process works, isn't it, Bryce?
It is, and I will say this: if any person tells you that the bill will end up like it started out, then they have no idea about the legislative process, because that ain't what it's about. It's about it is changes, it's compromises, and then as people who are involved in this, they have to learn that that's the case, because I've seen too many times, and not to kind of go off on a tangent, but people have their one feeling about how it should be, and then they get upset that it got changed, but that's the process. So on this, to your point, and to what I was saying earlier, that I think when we started, it was a novel idea, the One Coast Regional Tourism Group, and that was the vehicle we chose in working with our local leaders. But it was a start, and having listened to everything that's gone on, but also seen it over the years, we've matured. We've matured as a tourism industry. We've matured as a regional group. The casinos are having better years than they've had ever. I mean, it's time to look at this, not to throw the good old throw the baby out with the bathwater, to borrow a cliche, but to see where we can take it to the next step. Because at the time that it got passed, it was a concept. It was like, you hear the words a prototype, or I guess Apple, they come out with their first version, and then they come out with version 2.1 and then 2.5 and all that. Well, we're now got to go to Regional Tourism Board 2.0. How that's going to look, I don't know. There's conversations going on, but we would not be doing our job if we didn't look at it in that capacity.
Well, I want to congratulate you, as a leader in Jackson County, and others in your delegation, I might add as well, who are really focused on doing what is necessary to make sure that we address the issues that we're facing, which were not unexpected, again, as part of the maturation process. And there are some legislators that were sort of surprised by some of this, which, I said on the show maybe yesterday or in the last few days, that said, it's unfortunate they were surprised. But, man, we've been in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot going on, so I don't blame them for being surprised, even though this noise around this has been out there for about a year. It's time to get up to speed. It's time to go. There are a couple of other legislators, though, that have been sort of discouraging any change and wanting to accept the status quo. It's never good to accept the status quo when you've got compelling case for action. So I think with Jerry St. Pé and Greg Koenig coming onto the commission, it will help us solidify some of the reasons why we need to make some adjustments. Nobody's saying it should be blown up. People are simply saying we need to learn from our experiences and make it better. That's all that's being said. Hey, let's move on to the special session, our potential special session, as it relates to medical marijuana. The governor's got some big concerns. Why don't you kind of tell me what the latest is on all of this?
Well, the latest, or the most recent, I guess, developments are there's a back and forth between the leadership in the House and the Senate and the governor. And not to totally be unexpected, know this, that the House and the Senate have reached an agreement, okay? We have honored the passage of 65 after it got thrown out by the Supreme Court, and we spent this summer having hearings, and my colleagues, in particular Senator Blackwell, Chairman Blackwell, Lee Yancey, who many people know from the coast, have done a yeoman's job on getting a big bill together to do that. Now we're down, I guess, to the last kind of little details, and it's been in the press about those last details, and it's about 3 or 4 things, and the leaders have said, you know, this is where we are. The governor has requested some changes, and everybody wants a bill passed, and we want a bill that the governor will sign, and you know, the governor knows that, and so this is some last minute back and forth. I personally have received I haven't looked at it yet, but a revised version of the bill. So, you know, I would say we've gotten to like 90% of all the things worked out, and we're down to the last 10%. And so the governor has said until there's this agreement, he's not going to call the special session. And look, that is his prerogative under the Constitution. I will say this, though, that the people have asked us they want us to do this. And the legislature, House and Senate, have stepped up. We've spent all summer working on it, and we're ready to go. We're ready for the call of the governor, and you know, just tell us when, and we'll be there.
Yeah, well, that's really good. Hey, so I want to come back to the merger on your law firm, but before we move to that, are there any hot button issues other than this special session that you want to point out from a legislative point of view?
I think, I don't know if it's hot button, but it's important, and that's the redistricting, Ricky. So we had the census last year, and people hopefully had filled out their census, and now, as is the case every 10 years, the legislature redraws both the congressional districts and the legislative districts. And when we go in January, that's going to be probably one of the first things that we do is address and vote on the maps for Congress and for the legislature. And I will say this, that what the numbers have shown is that people are flowing to the coast. In fact, every Senate district in the bottom 3 counties geographically has to get smaller because more people have joined. I will use mine as example. In a Senate district, we all represent around 53,000 people, and that's kind of the optimum number that we have to be at. Well, I have to lose 4,000 people in my district because that's how it's increased. And even in places in Harrison County, have increased even more. So that's going to be important as we go in to do that.
Very good. Thanks for bringing that up. Okay, your law firm has expanded. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so since I got out of the legislative session, we've been working on a merger. My firm was Wiggins Law, and I started that when I left the DA's office and decided to run for the Senate. And we got to a point where we just had, needed more help. We merged with Andy Taggart's firm out of Jackson. Many people know Andy Taggart, longtime Republican leader, ran for Attorney General, but he and his wife had moved down to Ocean Springs. That got us talking. We have since merged our practices. So now we are Taggart, Rhymes, and Wiggins with an office in Jackson or Ridgeland and an office down here on the coast. I think it also shows how the coast is, dictating the market, if you will, on that. And it was really hard, to be honest, for the first couple months. We hired additional people. We brought people on. But I think we're settling in now. I mean, mergers aren't easy. You probably know that, Ricky. Anybody that has businesses know that. And so we've been doing it, but now we're kind of settled in, and Andy and his family are down here. And Jeff Rhymes, and I should say this, of course, Andy's originally from Moss Point. I grew up and still live in Pascagoula. Jeff Rhymes is originally from Jackson County. And then one of our associates, Trey Sims, is from Loosedale. So what you got is you actually have this coalition of, Coastians, and particularly the Jackson County area coming together.
It's really awesome. And of course, as you know, my son and Andy's son know each other really well. And I have had the opportunity to enjoy a friendship with Andy, extraordinarily well connected, very smart guy. And it's cool now that you have multiple offices. And when you're in session in Jackson, you got a place to go to now, right?
Yeah, you know what? That actually was lost on me until I was up in Jackson a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, wait, I got an office I can go to. It didn't even occur to me, because people may not know, but we're a citizen legislature, and so if you're actually a new legislator, you're doing your job from your desk there because you don't have an office. And you're not giving up your job. If you're a real estate agent, a lawyer, whatever, you have to do that. So it was unique.
Well, Brice Wiggins, Senator Brice Wiggins from District 52 in Jackson County, thank you for your leadership, and I look forward to touching base with you soon, my friend.
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate it.
You bet. Actually, we'll see you after this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I go again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Get the scoop on what happened in college football and what to expect in the NFL. Each Sunday on Sports Sunday with Michael Borky. Get the story behind the stats, 8 to 10 a.m. on SuperTalk Mississippi, supertalk.fm, and watch the show on supertalk.tv. SuperTalk Mississippi. We're more than just words. This is where the story of your state is told. Proud to cover the Magnolia State like nobody else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when
when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter. Has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because I was a boxer / I worked in a furniture factory / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant / I was in the National Guard, and all this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. Look, one of the great things about my show is that we get to focus on so many different kinds of people. People are in some that are working in as volunteers, some that are running big, gigantic businesses, some that are just entrepreneurs doing incredible things. And I love the idea. I love when I get to have young people on my show. And today is one of those days. I have my new friends, Drake and Chase Killingsworth. They own Killer Crab and Seafood Company in Gautier. They have a great story. But I want to start with, first of all, just saying this. Drake, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How old are you?
I'm 20. I'll be 20. I'll be 21 in November.
And Chase, how you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm 18.
18. So 20 and 18. And Drake, when did you start your business?
Well, we started when we was about 16, roughly, 16, 15. I mean, we've really been doing seafood our whole life. I mean, honestly, but where we really started to really focus on trying to make money is about 15 or 16.
So you had a shrimp boat when you were, I think, 15 years old, and then you didn't really like shrimping, so you decided to get a crab boat. And that decision was made at what age?
That was about 16. My dad really made that decision because he bought me and Chase a shrimp boat when we was about that age, and he was like, "Nah, I don't think." He's like, "I think it's a little bit too much. Let's start crabbing." And that was the first time we really ever crabbed. But it turns out in the end, we enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's do this. You have your business today. I want people to know what your business is. So what you can do, Drake, is tell me about the business, and then we'll move over to Chase and let him talk about what he does in any given day. And then we're going to stop and come back to the beginning again and sort of talk about your path forward. But tell me about your business today. What is it you guys are up to today?
Well, today, we have our restaurant, we have our seafood market, and we're still doing, we're doing bull crawfish. We're still crabbing every day. We're actually crabbing more now than we ever have, to be honest. We got a lot more traps. We got that we're running. we're still packing crabs and sending them to the East Coast. And of course, we have our restaurant again, like I say. And right now, we just did a lot of renovations on our building, and we built a big outside dining area, and we're finna open up a daiquiri and snowball and like ice cream bar or whatever you want to call it. So that's what we're up to today.
Wow, that's so interesting. So Chase, he said you got a lot more crab pots. When you go out and run your crab pots, how many are we talking about?
Roughly anywhere from 800 to 1,000.
Wow. Are you doing that by yourself?
No.
Yeah. So tell me about your operation.
Well, it's just a Carolina skiff, I guess.
We got a captain, and we have 2 deckhands on the boat at all times.
Yeah.
And, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's cool. So you enjoy getting out, Chase, and being on the water. I guess you're out there just about every day, huh?
Every day, all day. Yep.
Every day. So, how many hours do you work a day?
A lot.
It's
20.
Yeah, 20 when we're crabbing, a good 20-hour day.
Yeah, a good 20 hours a day.
But we don't crab every day. We crab every other day. But
yeah.
Oh yes, sir.
I get up about 2:30, and when I'm finished and done, I get back home around
about 10 o'clock.
10:30, 11.
Yeah.
So, wow. Well, look,
yeah.
Hey, look, let's be honest. When I talk to entrepreneurs, people who are starting their own businesses, that's kind of normal. I mean, you got to work hard, man. People who go to work for other people in corporations and want just an 8 to 5 job, they don't really appreciate what it takes to build your own business. It's tough work, isn't it?
Oh, you got to want it. That's for sure. You got to love it. That's for sure.
So what drives you? Okay, so you're so young, Drake, and of course your brother Chase is 2 years younger. But what drives you to want to do this? Where's the passion come from?
Man, I mean,
being able to work for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, being able to work for yourself mainly. But I mean, it's something that that's been in our family for generations and generations. The seafood and to be honest with you. And I was just talking about this earlier this morning to someone, and really what drove us for the first 2 to 3 years, we didn't even focus on money. Wasn't the main thing that we did it for. Be honest with you, we did it to just be better than anyone. We're competitive people. I mean, honestly, and I mean, of course, we did it for money too. I mean, you got to do it for money, but it was really just because, I mean, as far as crabbing, as far as board crawfish, and all that type of thing, we just wanted to be better than the next guy. We just wanted to be the best, really.
Well, but when you're competitive like that, Chase, coming over to you, when you're competitive like that and you want to be the best, when you see that you're actually reaching that level of success, it makes you want to even get better, doesn't it?
Oh yes, sir, for sure.
It's so cool to see you. I can see why you've been successful, because you have a sense about you that's kind of electric, actually. Have you felt the financial successes of opening your own business at a young age?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, we've been successful. We really have been successful. I mean, as far as financially, we have been successful. I mean, of course, we're still a new business. I mean, we haven't been open but for 3 years. I mean, 2.5 really. So I mean, we've put a lot back into it, but I mean, and that's just part of the game, So
it's so interesting. So as I was talking to you about offline, what's interesting is that your product is crabs and crawfish and maybe other seafood. But what is interesting about your story is that you're learning to run a business. You're learning to do marketing. I mean, just the fact that you guys are on my show is a marketing element to what you do. You're in the distribution business. You're learning a lot about what is involved in having a product and getting it to the consumer, and how to do it in a way that drops as much money to the bottom line as you possibly can. It has to be opening up thoughts about other businesses that you might want to be in. Is that true?
Oh, it certainly has. I mean, we've planned on to open up like processing houses and stuff like that. And I mean, it won't happen right now because, I mean, of course, we got to get a little bit more money under our belt. But we do plan to open up processing houses and stuff like that. It's just, like we started off differently than everybody. We didn't just come into here and open up a seafood restaurant. It's a lot more than that, than what we did. And I mean, we started crabbing, and then we started retailing crabs, and then we started wholesaling crabs, and then we started, we'll open up a restaurant. So, we have all the steps to the puzzle, if that makes sense,
Yeah. So two questions I have. One is, where are you sending crabs to? Where could I eat in a restaurant somewhere in the U.S. and have one of your crabs?
Oh, all up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, East Coast, Baltimore, Maryland, and South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, Florida.
So people, so you think about Maryland, you do think about blue crabs and whatever, but you think about Maryland blue crabs. You don't. So you might go to Maryland and eat a Gulf Coast blue crab.
Oh, certainly. Maryland buys more crabs than they could ever catch from the South, the Gulf Coast.
Their crab season is like our crawfish season.
They're the way we sell crawfish, they sell crabs there. So
wow, that's so interesting. Okay, so if I were to come to your restaurant, do you have a killer recipe to go along with your name?
A killer recipe?
We got a killer crab platter.
We have several different recipes, that we follow and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if I came there, I would love it.
Oh yeah, our gumbo, that's my mom's recipe. So, I mean, it's really good. Of course, so a lot of people enjoy our gumbo. I'd say probably our most popular thing is probably our steamed shrimp. That's certainly our most popular. Our boiled and steamed seafood.
So is it spicy?
You can get it mild, medium, or spicy. We have 3 different seasoning. However you want it, really. I mean, you can add all kinds of different seasonings to it. You kind of build your own season.
So, crawfish is a thing that so many different people eat, and there's so many different, just like with gumbo, there's so many different ways to cook it.
There's so many opinions.
So is your crawfish boiling recipe popular?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, we sell a lot of crawfish. People love our crawfish. That's for sure.
Give me in a day, how many pounds might you sell?
Oh, man, I don't even know in a day, but I mean, you're talking, probably about closer to 10 to 12,000, 15,000 on a Saturday.
Pounds?
Yeah, pounds. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this. Let's go to break. Let's go to break, and we'll come back on the other end. But this is Drake and Chase Killingsworth, and they're with Killer Crab and Seafood. Drake is 20 years old, and his brother Chase is 18, and they run this business. And we'll be back after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I go again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera slips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Matthews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. I'm having a wonderful conversation with two Coast entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, Drake and Chase Killingsworth. They own a company called Killer Crab and Seafood. You know, they're in the retail business, the wholesale business. They're in business, and they're learning a lot about business. And it will be interesting to watch what kind of businesses they're in the future. But I have a show on SuperTalk called SuperTalk Outdoors, Chase and Drake. And one of the things I talk about a lot is that I certainly for me, I got my love of the outdoors from my father and my grandfathers, and a lot of people have it passed down to them that way. In fact, I have friends of mine who didn't get it that way, and they're getting it from us who are sharing it with them. But once they get the bug of the outdoors, I don't care if they deer hunt, duck hunt, fish, or just like to go canoe. Just being out in the outdoors is something that really is electrifying for people. And once they get hooked, it's hard to get unhooked. In your case, you got it from your father and your grandfather. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what like when you were getting out, were you just like still in diapers when they had you out doing stuff?
Oh yeah. We've been on a shrimp boat since we were born.
So that's what you know. That's your normal life, right?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
What about let's say fishing with a fishing rod? I mean, again, as far back as you can remember.
Well, I haven't done much fishing with a fishing rod, to be honest. That's a little bit different for us. We never fished much. We fish with more nets and traps.
Yeah. What about you, Chase?
Same.
Yeah.
I like to bass fish a little bit, but
he just started bass fishing within the last couple years. But
when we go on the water, we go on the water to work. So it's all the nets or traps, and that's the only way.
Except when you go duck hunting.
Oh yeah, duck hunt. Yeah, when we go duck hunt now, we duck hunt.
Okay, so when did you go on your first duck hunt?
When we was little, yes sir.
And who took you?
My dads, my cousins, my uncles. You know, we.
So you go to somewhere on the Pascagoula River?
Oh yes sir, we hunt on the Pascagoula River.
Well, Pascagoula River, I talk about it all the time. It's the largest undammed waterway in the United States. And for people who don't appreciate this incredible thing that we have here, people, when they think about the Pascagoula River, they just think about, just a river and houses along the river, but it's not like that at all. As you guys know, the bottomland hardwoods, the marsh areas. I mean, it is, man, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's huge. The Pascagoula River is huge. There ain't no doubt. I've hunted the upper Pascagoula River, and we've hunted the lower Pascagoula right here in Gautier, Pascagoula area.
Yeah, that's incredible. Hey, what's that hat you have on?
This hat is a thing that we were starting, Killer Creek Hunting Lodge, and it's quail and pheasant hunting. We haven't really started it completely yet, but we're in the works with it. I put it that way.
Well, see, again, you're an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs are trying to figure out, okay, how I'm learning all these skills. How can I deploy those skills into another business? That would be pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, we bought the land in December. So we got the land. We got a lot. We got a cabin, and we got the dogs and stuff. We pretty much got everything. We're testing the waters this year and try to play with it and tweak it. So
yeah, that's so cool. Chase, you all in on that deal?
Oh
yeah, yes sir. Everything we do is 50-50.
Everything.
Well, that's so cool to see that. Are your parents proud of you?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Yes sir.
So when they look at you guys, do they also say, "Wow, the sky's the limit"?
Oh yeah, they do. Sure. Yeah, my dad, he likes to say we could do better.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, my dad said the same thing to me. My dad pushed me to try to achieve whatever potential I had in my life. And he just really, and the thing my dad taught me that I'll never forget, unfortunately died when I was 21, but his memory and his, I feel like he's a guardian angel with me all the time, but he said practical wisdom, just having good common sense. Just, you can have all this know-how. You can go to school and learn all this stuff, and it's good. You're learning under fire of actually running your own business. But at the end of the day, common sense, how you treat people, number one, how you treat people, it will have a lot to do whether you're successful in business or not. And then just having good common sense. You hear that all the time, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, my dad, deep down, I think he is proud of us, but he'd never tell us that. Yeah. My dad's always been the type of person, you do this good, and he'd tell you, all right, well, you can do that better. But I appreciate my dad for doing that,
Well, what I'll say to him, never met him, don't know him. He's going to be listening to this show, I'm sure. But
yes,
his name is Charles, of course. And every now and then I would say, reach out to these two kids and say how proud you are of them, because that goes a long way. A little affirmation goes a long way. But they know you care, and that's what's important. You set them up, and you've driven them to be who they are today, and that makes a big difference. What were you going to say, buddy?
Oh, without my mom and dad, of course, both of them helped us. But, I'd say my dad's really taught us
everything we know.
Everything we know about business. My dad's just, honestly, no other way to put it. He's just a hustler. He's good. He's smart.
Yeah.
So, he knows seafood, of course, but.
Well, he's done a good job with you guys. I look forward to being friends with you and having you back on the show in a few weeks or months. But we're at the end of our segment together. It's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on your success. I look forward to watching you over the coming years. But this has been Drake and Chase Killingsworth. They own Killer Crab and Seafood Company in Gautier. Go by and give them a good, serious look. Anyway, have a great day, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet. We will see you tomorrow.